Hey, what's up everybody? It's your boy Karpo here, back again with another Division 2 video. In today's video, we're going to be going over the new Update 1.07 patch notes, Operation Dark Hours. But as always, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you like the video, smash that thumbs up button, leave a comment down below, turn on that bell notification, stay up to date for more Division 2 videos. Now let's get started. Now we have some new things coming with this update. We have Operation Dark Hours, which will be releasing soon. We don't have all the information on that, but we also have some classified assignments. Finally, the Fall of DC. Classified assignments are exclusive missions for owners of the Year 1 Pass. Discover and complete these missions to hear stories behind the Fall of DC, as well as unlocking exclusive backpack rewards. Title Update 3 includes the first two classified assignments. Under New Apparel Event, we have Dark Hours. Starting together with the raid release, our second apparel event will introduce new outfits, masks, emotes, and weapon skins. That's right. When the raid releases a Dark Hour, we will also get our second apparel event. Also, under achievement and trophies, they said they added Operation Dark Hours achievements and trophies. Now, drum roll for the patch notes. Commendations. Added new commendations for Operation Dark Hours. Remove the following commendations: 28 days distinction, distinguished service ribbon, supreme response distinction, year 1 merit, division service merit, and then there's a development content. Remove these commendations as we felt that they were not delivering a great experience for players. Yada yada yada. Basically, I'm sure you don't want that. You want to know all of the juicy updates. So they added a new vanity patch reward for all players as compensation for any lost time due to the above changes to the commendations, and they added 5 new commendations. They added full deck distinction for acquiring all snitch cards, distinguished service distinction for completing 30 hours of service, supreme response distinction, complete all main missions and strongholds on hard difficulty or above, control point takeover merit, take over 50 heroic control points, invasion service merit, complete 10 invaded strongholds, and change Peacock Award to specifically using the Jumping Jacks emote. And also change mission discovery merit commendations to track when a player collects loot from loot boxes, not opening the loot boxes. This will ensure that all players are in a group. They can earn this commendation when playing within the respective mission. Now for crafting. Increase the base cap for receiving components and protective fabric crafting materials by 200, meaning that their caps will now start at 350 and end with 600 with all material capacity perks. And Naya, at the base of operations, is now the crafting ninja. She can be found next to the crafting bench in the White House. They added specialization and superior skill mods blueprints to our stock, added an extra weekly blueprint to our stock, moved crafting blueprints from base of operation vendor to our stock, and also there's a note. And Naya will have a variety of blueprints available. There are still other sources in the game like settlements and control points where you can get these blueprints. All exotic items upgraded through crafting will get the maximum gear score of the current crafting bench tier. Under gear, bonus armor granted on blue attributes gear significantly increases. Armor percentage can now be found as defense attribute rolls. Health percentage can now be found as defense attribute rolls. Under gear sets, hardwire now grants skill damage instead of shock duration. Ongoing directive now grants special ammunition into any weapon, including the weapon currently equipped. Now grants special ammunition on any kill, not just weapon kills. True Patriot decrease a debuff cycle from 4 seconds to 2 seconds, and increase damage dealt to nearby targets when full flag is active by 50%. Icons, the confidential gear set intel item now has a project icon to better reflect its use. Under loot, loot containers will now reset at its preset time of day. Control points reward containers will now also reset with this daily timer. Improve quality and quantity of drone helicopter loot. Slightly reduce the quality of items from cache classes. Cabinet loot containers will now have a chance to contain dark zone keys. Increase ammunition drop chances from enemy NPCs to limit situations where players would run in out of ammunition during prolonged fights on higher difficulty activities. Happened to plenty of us, I'm sure. Dark Zone Contaminated Loot does not drop below a player's average gear score and will guarantee gear score 500 when the player has reached gear score 500. Heroic difficulty mission, bosses, stronghold bosses, bounty bosses, and heroic control points reward containers will guarantee gear score 500 when the player has reached gear score 500. Loot now skews more towards the top end of its allowed gear score, resulting in fewer items being below the player's average gear score, and items that do drop below it will become a little bit average. Increases the reward for daily hard and challenging mission projects, and they will have guaranteed gear score 500 when the player has reached gear score 500. Under missions, new feature, post-mission activity summary. After completing missions, players may opt to look at an activity summary showcasing their performance in that activity and allowing an expanded look at the variety of detailed statistics. Bank Headquarters reduced difficulty for solo players, and Roosevelt Island reduced difficulty for solo players. Under mods, Hive users can now find healing on the experimental blend mods. Hive users can now find the plus radius on the network firewall mods, and new mods, Auxiliary Skill Battery. Auxiliary Skill Battery fits in skill mod slots and grant skill power. Under NPCs, updated RC Blade to fix various issues. Elite Medic Pulse Grenades has been changed. No longer applies Disrupt, Reduce Impact Radius, and the remaining impact radius should now be easier to see. Decrease damage of veteran, elite, and named NPCs. Greatly decrease melee damage for all tank NPCs. Moderately decrease melee damage for all non-tank NPCs. Decrease thrower NPCs accuracy with grenades. They're no longer professional baseball pitchers or cricket fielders. The better way to put it is they're not MJ what they shot. They're not Clayton Kershaw. Okay. Pretty much we got that. Alright, slight decreases damage to elite named warhounds. Civilian control point officers now wear pants. Civilian control point officers now wear protective body armor, safety first. Civilians with fully upgraded settlements will now wear combat harnesses and have slightly more health. Pretty cool. Upgraded settlement now slightly increases civilians' damage. NPCs will now be slightly less defensive while in cover and being aimed by that player. Decrease likelihood of NPCs using ladders in combat. Decrease likelihood of NPCs using special navigation out of combat. Cool. Civilians NPCs will now stay further away from players in combat, lessening the chance of them taking your player's preferred cover location. We get it. You're very protective of your favorite cover spot. Civilian houses are now more protective of their lives. Fix issues with many explosions causing extreme amount of threat, confusing NPCs. Fix various sliding issues with NPCs following recovery from a status effects. Enemy NPCs should no longer be able to stagger the player with a melee attack if the player has a ballistic shield equipped. Drone helicopter, increase health, increase damage, and improve the movement. Decrease outcast suicide vest explosion radius, lowered NPCs damage and health above normal difficulty, and increased variety of NPCs at higher difficulty levels. Now for open world. Implemented various UI and audio improvements to living world activities. For control points difficulty is now more clearly communicated using regular difficulty names in addition to alert levels. Approaching enemy patrols and convoys are now signaled more clearly during control point takeover. The civilian officer will now revive down players during control point takeover and judge you silently. Okay. Players can now select the civilian takeover icon on the map as a respawn option during control point takeover. That's really good. The option is disabled after the enemy leader joins the fight. Players can now fast travel to the civilian convoys and take over squads from the map. And Black Tusk now sends Warhound convoys carrying gears and weapons to Tidal Basin when the mission is available. Now for recalibration. Recalibration has been changed to allow for the majority of stats to be moved as they are from one item to another, while making it less likely to reach the cap of the stat move. To achieve this goal, we've expressed the recalibration power as a separate number called recalibration score next to the gear score. As such, recalibration will no longer increase the gear score of the item. All existing recalibrated items will have their recalibrated additional gear scores converted to the new format. Adjusted cost and ability to be recalibrated for. Terminate. kneecap, and calculated. So if y'all didn't know these three, you actually couldn't roll those talents off of the gear, so now you can. Now for rewards, XP from bounties have been increased. All settlements weekly projects now awards blueprints. New daily project SHD requisition requires crafting ingredients and rewards high quality gear and blueprints. So that's something to look out for. Increase the quality of weekly projects equipment rewards. Now under skills, assault drone. PvE. The drone will more actively look for new targets once it loses its current target. Defender drone will now drain more quickly once a shot has been deflected. Reinforcement. Chem launcher reinforces gas clouds do not stack anymore. Revive high. Fix further occurrences of players not being revived, and revive time slightly is increased. Riot foam chem launcher increased base duration of riot foam when used against the NPC, and scanner pulse reduced cooldown from 120 seconds to 90 seconds. Now under talents. Gear talents. Berserk increase require max depleted from 10% to 20%, now requires 7 offensive attributes. Blacksmith increase armor repair from 25% to 50%, can now occur every 15 seconds, was 10 seconds, now requires 7 defense attributes. Bloodlust PvE increase granted weapon damage from 25% to 35%, decreased duration from 10 seconds to 5 seconds. PvP decreased granted weapon damage from 25% to 20%, decreased duration from 10 seconds to 5 seconds, now requires 9 offensive attributes. Bloodsucker PvE depleting any armor adds a stack of 25% bonus armor for 10 seconds. Max stack is now 6, was 20%, 20 seconds, 5. And PvP, depleting any armor now adds a stack of 20% bonus armor for 5 seconds. Max stack is 5. Now requires 11 offensive attributes as an assault rifle SMG or LMG equipped. Under critical, reduce critical hit damage bonus from 8% to 5%. Clutch, increased health gain per critical hit from 15% to 20%, reduce armor gain per critical hit from 2% to 1%, and now requires 4 or less defense attributes. And trench, increase armor repair for headshots from cover from 5% to 10%, hard hitting, reduce damage to elites from 15% to 10%. Kneecap, increased chance to apply bleed when shooting an enemy in the leg from 10% to 15%. Patience, after being covered 5 seconds, armor repairs by 5% every 1 second, was 3 seconds, now requires 6 defense attributes. Safeguard, reduced duration from 20 seconds to 5 seconds, can only occur once every 20 seconds. This was already the case, but is now reflected in the tooltip, and now requires 4 or less offensive attributes. Splatter, now increase weapon damage to pulse enemies from 10% to 20%, and now requires 5 utility attributes. Surgical, reduce critical hit chance from 8% to 5%. Unbreakable PvE, increase amount of max armor repair when armor is depleted from 25% to 70%. Increased time frame for armor kits not being consumed when effect triggers from 5 seconds to 7 seconds. PvP, increased max armor repair when armor is depleted from 15% to 25%. Increased time frame from armor kits not being consumed when effect triggers from 5 seconds to 7 seconds, and now requires 11 defense attributes and no other talents affecting the armor kits. Unstoppable force PvE, killing an enemy now grants 2% weapon damage for every 25,000 max armor. In PvP, killing an enemy now grants 1% weapon damage for every 25,000 maximum armor. Now requires 7 more defensive attributes, and then there's a development comment. Due to the increase in available armor or in gear, we made it also increase the max amount requirements for unstoppable force. Now for the weapon talents. We have Frenzy. For every 10 bullets in a magazine capacity, gain 2% fire rate and 2% weapon damage for 5 seconds when reloading from empty. PvP. For every 10 bullets in a magazine, gain 1.5% rate of fire and 1.5% weapon damage for every 5 seconds when reloading from empty. Killer now grants 30% critical damage for 5 seconds instead of 50% critical hit chance. Developer comment. We think critical damage feels more appropriate as you already need a relatively high critical hit chance to activate the talent regularly. Measured now grants 20% of fire rate and minus 15% weapon damage in the top half of the magazine. Now grants negative 20% fire rate and plus 30% weapon damage in the bottom half of the magazine. Developer comment. Measured should now be a net damage bonus, and the increased rate of fire should better support other talents and effects activating. Preservation PvE, killing enemy now repairs 10% over armor over 5 seconds. Headshot improves the repair to 20%, was 5% over 3 seconds and 10%. PvE, killing the enemy repairs 5% armor over 3 seconds. Headshot improves the repair to 15% and now requires 7 defense attributes. Reformation, increase headshot kills, repair, and healing to 50% from 25%, and reduce duration from 25 seconds to 20 seconds, and now requires 9 utility attributes. Spike increases skill damage from 25% to 35%, and increased duration from 10 seconds to 20 seconds, and now requires 5 utility attributes. Strain increased missing armor requirements from 5% to 10%, and Unhinged reduce damage bonus from 25% to 20%, and reduce handling negativity from 35% to 25%. Now they also have this little thing called vendors will now verify the player's highest achievement world tier and offer items of that gear score instead of offering items of the highest world tier available in the group. And now for weapons. We have a new feature, exotic mod bonuses. All exotic mod slots now have unique bonuses. SOCOM MK22 SSR now have a skin slot for specialized quality and up. Nemesis mods, we have optic mod, magazine mod, muzzle mod, and a rail mod. As you can see, all doing headshot, reload, critical hit damage, and damage to elite. Chatterbox damage is increased, and also has some mod slots, octave, magazine, muzzle, and rail, which give you 5% critical hit chance, 10% reload speed, 10% crit hit chance, and 15% handling. Sweet Dreams Lullaby damage is increased, and has some mod slots, octave, magazine, and rail, giving you 15% accuracy, 15% reload speed, and 25% optimal range. Merciless, Ruthless damage is increased. The mods is optic, magazine, muzzle, and rail, giving you 10% accuracy, 15% reload speed, 20% stability, and 20% handling. Pestilence damage is increased. Mod slots, magazine, muzzle, and rail has 10% rate of fire, 20% stability, and 15% handling. And Liberty mod slots, optic, magazine, muzzle, and rail gives you 10% crit hit chance, 15% damage to elite, 15% stability, and 15% rate of fire. And Attack 50 now has 2 zoom states. Now for conflict. Armor boost. Boost provided is reduced by 50%. Armor value on nameplates. Improve visual to better reflect how much armor on enemy has. Balance. All players are now scaled to max world tier gear score. Primary stats are set to high-end values. Normalized talents overrides are applied. Budget distribution of unnormalized items is preserved. No additional bonus is applied. Unlock mods and talents from an unnormalized build are active. Items above gear score 500 will be scaled to 500. No bonus stats will be applied to these items. Recalibration bonuses are not applied. PvP specific overrides. Weapon and skill global damage modifier. Target weapons and skill damage modifier. Assault rifles now have 1.25 PvP damage scalar applied. And skill behaviors overrides. Damage boost. Boost provided reduced by 50%. The conflict NPC was moved to a more prominent spot next to the helipad outside the base of operations. Respawning players are now much more likely to respawn with their teammates and skill cooldowns no longer reset when a player is killed. And under PvP, damage modifier reduced to increase time to kill, and skill modifier increases to let skills have more impact in PvP. Under Dark Zone, contaminated loot. Bosses now guaranteed a contaminated loot drop. Higher challenges, landmarks can drop multiple contaminated items. Basic, veteran, and elite NPCs have their drop rate lower, but now have a very high chance to drop contaminated loot. Dark Zone bag size, reduce bag size. Default bag size increased to 6. Tier 1 perk bag space now increased bag size to 8. Tier 4 bounce back now reduces Dark Zone XP lost on death. And Tier 10 perk increases bag size to 10. DZ brackets reducing brackets to only 2. So we're going to have 2 DZ brackets. Level 1 through 30 and all the players that are in the other world tiers. NPC AI reduced damage output and increased time to kill. Landmarks added a short cooldown to landmarks. And also Rogue remove cooldown, and there is still a 5-second toggle cooldown. These then now allow players to switch weapons, occupy Dark Zone damage modifiers, and added a separate PvP damage modifier. And XP reduce Dark Zone loss of XP to 35% of the XP in your current Dark Zone rank when being killed. Under General Text Chat Improvement, players can now toggle displaying personal and group loot drops. Text chat will now lose focus after sending a message. Group tab will be populated with all raid members when queuing for a raid. Improved feedback when attempting invalid actions in text chat. Under settings, added a neutral lighting setting to our platform. Under PC settings, added an anti-assailant graphic setting with new ultra alternative for sharper images while in motion. Under UI, character sheet will now properly update and display accurately. Stability, recoil, weapon swap, and reloading speed from weapon handling bonus. Social menu, when down, agents will now have the possibility to open their social menus via hotkey. Players will now be able to matchmake during heroic difficulty missions. Players are now immune to vote kicks during boss encounters, and for a short time after the end of the boss encounters and missions, going AFK removes this immunity. That is a definitely great bonus. For bug fixes, fix the issue where NPCs and bounty screens had broken animations. Put your hands down, please. Fix the issue that could prevent players from completing the side mission medical camp attack. Fix the issue where armor values on AI in a dark zone scaled incorrectly. Fix the issue where the sniper turret would aim at targets out of line of sights in PvP. Fix the issue where scanner pulse and repulses were not properly affected by skill duration. Fix various issue where skill bonuses were not applied properly. Fix the issue where bounties rewards from projects and settlements were rewarding the wrong amount of XP and credit. Fix the issue where clan clashes would scale incorrectly when open in another player lower level section. Fix the bug where NPCs from a resource convoy could spawn out of thin air and on top of players. Happened to me plenty of times. Fix the player when the control point supply room would remain locked when capturing a control point too quickly. Fix several bugs with matchmaking that prevented correct matching of players based on their region, language, gear score, and other criteria. Fix the issue with a friend in need achievement trophy, which would cause it to not unlock in certain conditions. Fix the issue where a player would be unable to complete the Big Hunter game achievement trophy. Fix the issue on the Ubisoft Club Weekly Challenger screen on PC that resulted in a lower frame rate when on the screen. And last but not least, fix the issue causing Korean language glyph compositions not displaying properly in the in-game chat. So there you have it. Just a little over 20 minutes. I know it was long, but it is a ton of stuff right here in this update. So I know you are wanting to get back on the sticks like me, so that's pretty much going in for this video. As always, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on that bell notification, stay up to date for more Division 2 videos. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your time, and as always, I'll be seeing y'all in the next one. Later.